Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story actually consists of two posts, one from the wife of the relationship and another from the husband. The post from the wife is titled, "I ruined everything for nothing." I don't really know where to begin. I've destroyed my family, my husband is leaving me, and my children don't even want to be in the same room. My sister suggested I post here to maybe get some advice. It took a lot of effort to even type this out. I have been crying for weeks and I found that I was lying to myself, trying to make myself look better in this story. What hope is there when I can't even be honest with just myself, all alone by myself? I am in a terrible state, so this is a bit all over the place. Sorry about the wall of gibberish in advance. I am 38F, my husband is 39M, we have 4 children aged 15 to 8 years, and we have been together since I was 16, married for 18 great years. I had an affair. It felt great for a while. Now, in hindsight, I know it was all a delusion, a fantasy. Now I am so ashamed I don't know the words to even describe it. I can't even look at myself in the mirror. Everybody hates me, including my own sister, who is the only person that would take me in. My sister is also a cheater, by the way. Her fiancé left her for it. Still, she yells at me constantly, telling me what a piece of crap I am. She found out about my affair early on. She warned me I was on a path to disaster if I didn't stop immediately and come clean. I was too selfish and stupid to see that. I was too wrapped up in myself to listen to her. So I refused to stop, and she, in turn, cut me out of her life until she picked me up. My husband started divorce proceedings and doesn't even want to talk to me. I don't know how or even if I can fix any of this. He has said he would come and talk to me the last 3 days, but he hasn't shown up. I can't blame him. I hurt him so badly. I broke him, my family, my children, and myself, and I wish so much I could take their pain away and just disappear. All I do is stay in bed, staring at the ceiling, hating myself. Whenever it is quiet, it feels like my heart is trying to escape from my chest. I get panic attacks where I struggle to breathe. I am hardly able to eat. Whenever I fall asleep in my nightmares, I see my husband's pain and him looking at me without love in his eyes. The therapist I've been seeing believes this maybe started for me about 3 years ago. My best friend from school died suddenly from cancer. She never married. She was a partner in a law firm and had an extravagant lifestyle. I have always admired her. I have an okay career in marketing and have been a stay-at-home mom for long periods when our children were small. The time at home with my children was the best time of my life. For some reason, I started re-examining my life when my friend died, especially what I hadn't done. I became very critical of myself. I started feeling inadequate. My self-esteem plummeted. I had only ever been with my husband, and I started to resent him for it, like he had denied me romance and experiences or something. In reality, I twisted it around in my head. It was me that actually pursued him. I was the one that wanted marriage and a family. I felt like I should have done better with my life, experienced more, done more. Somehow, I managed to blame my husband for all of it. I didn't actually talk to him about it. Deep down, I knew it was just stupid. Still, I grew resentful, and gradually over time, I would push my husband away. I had no reason at all to feel this way. I had a loving, attentive husband, happy, healthy children, a good job, great sex life, hobbies, good health, nice vacations, friends, great extended family, good economy. My life was wonderful by most measures. Of course, it wasn't perfect, but whose is? My younger sister got engaged around this time. She had been a bit of a party animal growing up, and her fiancé was wonderful. I became jealous of her, like her life had been better than mine somehow. My sister cheated on her fiancé before they got married, and he left her. She was devastated. She has told me that it's her biggest regret, but it's only now that the shoe is on my foot that I understand her. Somehow, I got obsessed with her cheating. I started having fantasies about it, dreaming about it. So, about 7 months ago, I started to respond to flirting from a younger married coworker. It turned into an emotional affair almost immediately. I loved the attention. He knew just what to say somehow. The first 2 months were a whirlwind, so exciting, a massive rush. During this time, I neglected my husband and my family. I would deny my husband intimacy, and I treated him very poorly. Somehow, I managed to resent him for what I was doing. I blamed him for the guilt I was feeling. Looking back, I clearly see how much I hurt him. I saw the pain on his face. Pain I so easily ignored at the time. I remember how hard he tried to win me back. But at the time, I somehow managed to justify in my mind that what I was doing was my right. I deserved it. In my mind, everybody should just be happy for me. I managed to convince myself that I was entitled to this affair, that it was good for me, and that nothing else mattered. It turned from an emotional to a physical affair at around 2 months. The sex was mediocre at best. My AP was a very selfish lover. When it turned physical, the excitement I felt during the emotional affair started to slowly die off. I kept the affair going. I wanted that initial excitement back. But the more time I spent with the AP, the less I felt that initial rush. We never had a real or deep emotional connection, it was just pretend. Still, I actually believed I loved him. I was also starting to feel more and more guilty for what I was doing. I took it out on my husband. Somehow, I managed to blame him for how I felt and was absolutely terrible to him. Then I felt guilty for that, blamed him for that too, and treated him even worse because of it. Around 2 months into the physical affair, I noticed a drastic change in my husband's behavior. He stopped trying to initiate intimacy. He stopped all the little things he used to do for me. He used to leave love notes around for me to find. Normally, he would be going out of his way to make me laugh or smile. He used to kiss and hug me all the time and make this little joyful sound when he did so. He stopped including me in his life. He would not even engage me in conversation. He used to make my favorite meals on the days I had to work late. Now he didn't even make a plate for me when he made normal dinner. He would only make food for himself and the kids. I tried arguing with him about it, but he just left the house without even saying a word. I didn't want to accept it. I was in denial, but I know now that he had completely disconnected from our relationship already. The affair with AP deteriorated quickly after that. Still, it continued for almost over a month before I finally broke it off with my AP. Strangely enough, I haven't had any desire to have any more contact with him. I started going to individual counseling. My therapist pretty much spelled it all out for me. Still, it didn't sink in. I refused to come clean. I started to desperately try to reconnect with my husband. I was still in total denial. I managed to convince myself that if I acted like the perfect wife, he would come back to me. My husband showed no interest at all, but he would come around eventually, I told myself. I believed the crushing guilt would go away if I could reconnect with my husband. I believed we would return to normal, stronger than ever. He would never know the full truth of my betrayal. I would dress up the way he likes, spotlessly clean the house, try to initiate, cook his favorite food, anything I could think of. Nothing worked. Even if I tried to just touch his hand, he would pull away from me. My husband would barely look at me. He would spend a lot of time out of the house. When I tried to talk to him, in most cases, he wouldn't even respond. If he answered at all, it would be along the lines of, "I don't care." Then he would just leave. Deep down, I knew I had lost my husband. I just refused to accept it. Before this, whenever he looked at me, there was always this tremendous amount of love in his eyes. He would rest his eyes on me for long periods of time and just lovingly smile. Now, whenever I looked at his eyes, the love was gone and he would barely even glance at me. Still, I managed to convince myself that we would be alright. Still, I hadn't started to cry. A few weeks ago, my husband was in the kitchen when I came home. He was smiling for the first time in a long time. I sat down and the rest of the conversation is actually a bit blurry, but I found out my husband knew about the affair almost the entire time. At the end of his speech, he told me we should divorce in such a way that he clearly expected me to enthusiastically want a divorce as well. The reality of my actions crashed in on me all at once. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't see clearly, I just couldn't form coherent thoughts or sentences. I don't know how long I sat there babbling, but my sister came and picked me up. She was talking to me in the car. I don't actually know what she said. I think I was in shock. Some days after that, my husband came to talk to me. I had been desperately reading online about ways to fix a marriage after infidelity. I had even prepared a full written confession and a timeline for him. I offered him everything, a post-nup 100% in his favor. Full access to everything, anything he wanted at any time, anything at all. If he would just stay with me. He took the timeline, but he didn't even want to read it. I confessed everything, and for a second, I saw that pain flash across his face again. The same pain that I had so easily ignored so many times during the affair. Now, even that little flash was unbearable to me. I could see that he was clearly hiding this pain from me. This hurt me even more. He was still being courteous and fair with me, even though I didn't deserve any of it. Sitting there, I finally had to accept that there was no longer love for me in his eyes. The only thing I could see was distrust and disappointment. As he argued with me, I could no longer deny that this was all my fault. I had broken my husband's trust. I had broken him. He used to be kind, considerate, open, full of jokes. This new man in front of me that I created. He was somber, an emotional brick wall, a man that only cared about moving on. He explained in excruciating detail how badly I hurt him, how he would never be the same. Without even blinking, he told me that the love he once had for me had died, killed by my choices. He wants to start dating. He even has a woman in mind. He didn't want to cheat like me, so he wants to divorce as soon as possible. I can't really understand how I managed to mess up my life so badly. I have destroyed my family, and now my children will have to suffer through divorce and the pain of growing up in a broken home. At some point after that, I fell unconscious, and I woke up in the hospital. My sister was there, but my husband was not. That devastated me even more. When I came to, I started calling everyone, confessing what I had done. I called the AP's wife, his parents, our friends, my employer. I resigned as well. Basically, I called everyone I could think of. Everybody hates me now, and I deserve it. Still, my husband isn't talking to me. I destroyed my family, broke the love of my life, traumatized my kids, and for what? Some cheap thrills? I don't understand how I could do this. Can I get my husband to talk to me? How can I even ask him to do that? How can I ever face my children again? What do I even say to them? I desperately want to repair this, but how could I even start? Is it even possible? I am completely lost. I don't know what to do. I don't see any way out. A deleted user said, I know the story from your husband's perspective and have to say, reading it from yours is even harder. Not because of your suffering, but rather because of how little you cared when you saw your husband in pain during your affair. In my opinion, a marriage is built on love, trust, and respect. If your husband will ever be interested in you again is something no one can tell you, but if you want to fight, then you have a tough uphill battle to fight because you will have to do things that might seem illogical for you. Start with working on showing him that you can respect him again by accepting whatever he tells you. He now needs distance from you, and if you reach out to him again and again, then you don't respect his wish for distance. Tell him that you are available when he wants to talk, but leave it to him to reach out to you. Don't fight him on the divorce. If he needs that, then let it happen. Respect his wishes. That is the best way to show him that you maybe found your respect for him again. Another deleted user said, your marriage is over. You killed it. You killed the unconditional love your BS had for you. Stop fighting a lost battle. Monica will make him the happiest man he could ever be. Leave him. Let him be happy. This is not healthy for him. You've done enough damage to him. Why do you want to salvage a dead corpse? The reality is that you can't. Let him be with Monica. She will heal him up and he will be happy. He doesn't need you anymore. If you really love him, give him the divorce, go to IC, and be the best mother and co-parent you can be. Think about this and let him go. There is no hope for recovery. Your attempts at salvaging this will only fuel his resentment, anger, and hatred for you. He needs to heal with a partner that won't betray him. You took him for granted for a cheap thrill, and by doing that, you did the same thing as your sister. Wise men learn from the mistakes of others. User Senior Performance said, the best you can do going forward is to fix yourself so that you can be a better mother to your children and perhaps even a better partner to a new man. Whatever bridge you had with your husband is gone. You have burnt it. He is totally indifferent to you, and that's worse than hate. I would be too if I were him after months of watching the love of my life treating me like a doormat. User While You Were Sleeping said, you're still in denial. We get the good and the bad from our parents. I, like my siblings, smoked because we saw my father smoke all our lives. You cheated not because of the death of your friend or jealousy from your sister's life. She, like you, cheated because one of your parents cheated. Let's forget your husband for a second. What gave you the right to cheat your kids out of a happy home? I don't really think you can fix it. You basically thought you deserved to cheat on your husband and think that a few fake tears will get you back like nothing ever happened. The husband's post is titled, My Cheating STBX Confuses the Hell Out of Me. So I'm seriously confused. I have been reading a lot on these forums over the last few days, but I'm still kind of dazed. TLDR, my wife cheated and I checked out. I thought she would be happy for us to go our separate ways, but she completely freaked out. I just don't understand what she is trying to achieve. I discovered my STBX cheating about 7 months ago. I went through all the heartache, the denial, the pain, the pick-me attempts. I was seriously depressed for a long while. I never confronted her, but I was a total mess. She must have known I knew. She just didn't care, I guess, or at least I assumed that. About 2 to 3 months ago, I was just done with it all. Done with her, done with the marriage, I just didn't care anymore. I completely checked out of the relationship and started preparing for a divorce and my new life to come. I avoided my wife as much as possible. I tried to stay out of the house when she was home. I would not engage in conversation. When she asked me a question, I would only answer yes, no, maybe, or I don't know. I even left the divorce lawyer's bills out in the open. She must have known I was checked out and preparing to divorce. Kids even asked me about it. Even they could see what was going on. I even did the "we both love you" speech. It's not your fault, sometimes grown-ups can't be together anymore, etc. My wife was actually in the room and must have heard me talk to the kids. She didn't comment or object. I took her silence as consent. Anyway, a few days ago, I met a girl I used to know in school before I ever met my wife. We always had this tension between us, some kind of chemistry. We would always flirt and be touchy, but we never actually did anything about it. Let's call her Monica because I think she looks like Monica Bellucci. Monica and her family moved away before I found the guts to actually do anything about it. I regretted that for a long time, but I was young, shy, and stupid. I haven't been thinking about Monica for a long time actually. I haven't seen her for years. But as soon as we met, the tension between us was palpable, even more than I remember, and communication was effortless. She actually asked me out. I explained the situation to her with my STBX. I told her I wanted to be officially separated before I started dating. I wasn't going to cheat. Monica respected that. She gave me her number and told me to give her a call as soon as I was done doing what I had to do. She told me she never married and she was really excited to get to know me again. I was even more excited. The encounter motivated me to finally confront my wife and officially get separation and divorce going. I was really happy when I went home and sat down waiting for my wife. I was actually grinning like a lunatic when I asked her to sit down and told her that we had to talk. I told her I've known about her cheating for a long time. I told her I assumed that she knew I knew, especially since I checked out of our relationship for the last 3-ish months. She didn't seem to mind that I no longer cared, so I told her I want to start dating and get on with my life. I concluded my speech with, "All taken into consideration, it's time for us to get divorced. Don't you agree?" Her reaction was totally not what I expected. She started crying, not just regular crying either, like a desperate, soul-breaking noise. I have never heard anything like it. She was blabbering excuses, asking for second chances, that the affair didn't mean anything. We could fix this if we try counseling. I was a bit shocked. I thought she would be happy. I told her she could go and be with this guy without guilt. He is obviously more important to her than her family. If he wasn't, why go with him in the first place? She must have known this would destroy us. She can't possibly be that stupid, can she? I told her if she believed we needed to fix our family or our marriage, the time to do that would have been 7 months ago before she had the affair. Now it's too late. It's broken beyond repair. I didn't think we had any problems in our marriage. She didn't talk to me, and I am not a mind reader, so whatever it was, I had no way of fixing it. Since she started this affair with the other guy, she obviously thought something was wrong or missing. Something that was so wrong that it couldn't be solved by talking to me. Something had to be so lacking or so wrong that she was okay with having our children grow up in a broken home from there on in. If not, why do it? I clearly and calmly explained that there is no way for her to unfuck this guy for the last 7 months, and there is no way to undo the pain and suffering she caused me. The pain she caused that made me arrive at this point of basically being indifferent. Or actually, I kind of hate her guts. I'm simply being civil for the sake of being able to co-parent our children in the future. Her sister showed up, and after I explained what was going on, she took her away. I felt tremendous relief when they were gone, like I could finally breathe for the first time in 7 months. I don't know what I'm looking for here. She must have known this was going to happen. She must have wanted it. She can't possibly be that stupid that she thinks this behavior, these choices she made, would result in anything other than divorce and a broken family. She is beautiful, she is smart. Our marriage was great up until she started her affair. I have accepted that life changes. I have moved past it. Now she is pretending like she loves me, that she wants us to remain married and a family. What could possibly be her motivation to have this major drama at this point? What could she gain? I mean, she couldn't possibly expect us to try to reconcile at this point, could she? It must be some kind of ploy. I just can't figure out what it is. I have lots of evidence of her cheating. I live in a European country, and this would mean no alimony or anything for her. Could that be it? Is she afraid I will out her? Could that be it? She wants me to feel sympathy, so I don't tell people about what she did. Her AP is married, so maybe she is scared I will tell his wife. I just can't get my head around it. Anyway, I just had to get this out of my head. I was hoping it would make more sense typed out, but no, I am just as confused now as when I started this rant. User The Cult of Abe Lincoln said, "You absolutely should tell his wife that he is cheating on her. I believe it's a sign of respect as a kindred spirit whose soul has been crushed by infidelity. I guarantee you will cause her pain, and I almost as much guarantee she will thank you for it. You have to think it's all about the kids at this point. I would strongly encourage you to focus on being the best father and, no matter how much it hurts, not allow them to see that their mother has ripped your guts out and stomped on them. Kids are smart. They'll figure it out. Be the best man you can be for them. You'll regret doing anything less." As for Monica, she sounds real cool, and she's understanding of what you have going on, which is awesome. I would advise strongly against rushing into anything, however. You have a massive variable changing, and it may be best not to upset the equation with another. I have seen many men sign up for the first replacement they can find, and most came out worse for wear. That said, you sound like you two have great chemistry and history, so best of luck. After all, it sounds like she's willing to be patient, so why not? You'll regret it if not. User Swansong Blue said, "Oh, the reality hit her like a train, OP. Bam, and her little world was blown completely asunder. She was so into her affair fog that she never even noticed that you had disengaged. She didn't care. She was getting her kicks from her AP, and it was supercharged because it was cheating. They were both cheating. Your announcement came as a bolt from the blue. She literally didn't see it coming. The game is up, and that is why there are all of these tears. You are so much better off. Sorry if that sounds a bit trite, OP, than most betrayed. In most cases, the cheater has done the mental and emotional acrobatics to justify their actions and disengage from their main relationship, while poor old betrayed is hit sideways. You've got the reverse. You have come to terms with it. She is the one who's been knocked suddenly sideways. Don't relent. She cheated incessantly and without a care for you or your family. Given the chance, she will happily go back to doing just that. Sounds like you have already put your future in order. Good for you. Take it steady. There is no rush. Seriously, consider blowing her AP's world up, OP. He didn't give a shit about yours. You might also have to consider getting your kids' DNA tested. It won't stop you loving them, but it will set the record straight and inform your wife how very seriously you are taking this. Good luck. A deleted user said, "She's now realizing her gravy train is about to leave the station and is trying to pull emotional blackmail to have you stay. Expect her to suggest an open relationship so she can still use you as an ATM and babysitter while she goes out and cheats on you. Just divorce her. You've already done the hard part by disengaging your emotional connection, so that part of you is dead to her. Why prolong the misery? Just make sure you get that 50-50 access and document everything. File first and don't move out until custody is formalized." User Fragrant Spray said, "What she wants is to have sex with the other guy and come home to a husband that is faithful to her, takes care of the kids, and pays the bills. She wants the outward appearance of a happy family, but is not willing to make any effort on her end. She's not poly, she's a cheater who is using you and is upset that she may no longer get the benefits your stability provides. She's not sorry about the affair, she doesn't even seem sorry that she got caught, but she seems sorry that she has to deal with the consequences of her actions. There is zero reason to believe, if you tried to fix it, that she wouldn't have another affair, or continue this one, as soon as she was sure you weren't going anywhere again. Time to get papers filed, not because of the other girl, but because you can't and shouldn't trust your wife to be a reliable partner." User DeGrubs said, "Classic affair fog. Dopamine is a serious high that keeps you from thinking clearly. It's built into our biology to drive procreation. She probably does love you and her family that she just nuked from orbit. Right now, she's trying to save the marriage that she never intended to destroy. At some point in the near future, she'll be reframing this to be about your marriage being broken. She'll have to in order to be able to live with herself. Path forward, keep being the gray rock. Limited NC outside of children and divorce logistics. Since you are firmly in the D, there's no point in discussions about why. It was done and the marriage was killed. Watch out for love bombing and hysterical bonding. Use your leverage to get her into infidelity IC. Affairs happen because of brokenness that keeps the WS from stepping back before it starts. You want the mother of your children to be the best, healthiest mother possible, out the AP. You want to snap your wife fully out of the fog just for your kids' sake. Relationships spawned from affairs seldom work, and they don't deserve to be in that circus.